China, as we all know, keeps its currency, the yuan, artificially low. My heart goes out to companies in the U.S. that are having difficult times competing with companies in China, but I'm not really sure that labeling China a currency manipulator and imposing really strong sanctions against the country is a smart idea. What do you think? A reader going by the name of Flush China wrote that, yes, a trade war with China would bring us near-term problems. However, longer term, we would benefit. Americans would be forced to compete and perform. On a level play field, Chinese goods are not worth the money. In turn, Chinese factories would start shutting down. The Chinese who were once employed would pressure their government for reforms. It's a good point, and I do think that, as I stated earlier, there does need to be something done to try and work with China's government to make sure that they do let their currency inflate a little bit more and trade in the free market where it should be trading. But China has been doing that already, so that's why I don't think we need to go overboard with sanctions. Another reader, however, Cami Farr, expressed disgust about the outsourcing of U.S. jobs and ideas to China. If they're being made by American companies, they aren't really Chinese, are they? Our engineers, our quality control, our materials and machines, and their cheap labor, the rich in America, are selling us out. These goods shouldn't be stamped made in China. They should be stamped made by pigs willing to screw anyone for a buck. One other reader had, dare I say it, an almost Confucian-type saying about trade relations. Shoveling Snow wrote, "You are a frog. You've been boiling for 10 minutes. The water is starting to get hot. You are still strong enough to escape. The cook reassures you with words and turns the temperature down 1 notch. Do you continue to stay there?" I'm only going to assume that the analogy here is that China is the cook trying to reassure the U.S., the frog, that yes, it's doing everything it can to let the yuan appreciate. However, it hasn't appreciated enough. Not everyone thinks the U.S. should talk and act tough with China. Some people agree with me. Seng Tui wrote, "Stop all this empty rhetoric and focus on getting employment back on track instead of finger-pointing and blaming others for America's self-inflicted woes. The U.S., it seems, has become its own worst enemy thanks to the hypocrisy of politicians in Washington. People in Washington have taken actions that have weakened the dollar, and that is something that is maybe currency manipulation, and I can understand why the Chinese would be upset with that." Finally, Turtle995 is even more blunt and just simply says, "China was around for thousands of years before the USA and will be around thousands of years after the USA is gone. Learn Mandarin." It's a little bit hyperbolic. I don't think the USA is going anywhere just yet. But as for learning Mandarin, that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. China is definitely increasingly important in the global economic stage. That's not going to change anytime soon either. So it really would behoove many in America to face up to the fact that China is not an enemy. It may not be a friend. I guess it's a frenemy if you want to use one of those cheesy terms. But we do need to cooperate with China more than we are currently.